game development can be hard. I have heard of this line many times even before I started learning game development. And over the past few days, I actually had the opportunity to experience what it really means. Hello everyone, this is Darkspactus and welcome to the third episode of this Devlog series. In the last Devlog, I mentioned how anxious I was about my game for not having a plot. I mean, all I had was this, a character that can move left or right and jump. That's it. I had no idea where to move on from this point forward. I thought a good story might help me to figure out what kind of mechanic my game needs. And I did think of a few plots, but nothing was working for me as they were too complex. This made me feel frustrated. But the Broman 90 suggested me to focus on the gameplay first, and I think he has a point. Currently, I'm reading a book by Scott Rogers called Level Up, The Guide to Great Video Game Design. In that book he said, some games need a story, some games don't, but all games need gameplay. He also said, don't mistake a story for gameplay. At this point, it is clear to me how important the gameplay is. But the question is, what exactly is gameplay? Well, this is the definition I got from Wikipedia. As you can see, a gameplay simply is how the player feels and interacts with the game. A good gameplay defines a good game. So my next mission became solely to focus on the gameplay. I'm new to game development and I don't have experience playing a lot of games either. So I guess it'll be challenging for me to design a good gameplay. Every time I want to add a new feature, I have to go through 3 different phases. First, I have to search the whole internet to find an actual way to do this. Then if I find a way, I have to test it. I have to tweak it so that I can use it in my own code. And if everything works fine, only then I can implement it to my game. You see, it's a lot of work and I wanted to avoid the chance of working on something that I might not end up adding to my game. This way of thinking is really bad, especially for beginners, and I'm going to tell you the reason why later. For now, let me share with you what I did in the last 1 month. After posting the last devlog, the first thing that I did was create a Trello board so that I can track my progress. Then I wrote a game design document for my game. It isn't anything like the real thing, but this piece of written document helped me organize my thoughts. Especially this FAQ part. At least now I know my game is going to be made for Android platform. I didn't have much experience with Android development, so next I wanted to give that a try. After downloading the required components, I made the first Android build of my game and transferred it to my phone. Then I installed it and it didn't work. It said my device doesn't match the hardware requirements or something like that. By the way, this is my phone, my trusty companion. I know it's a bit old, but I'm poor, so I guess I'm trying to be happy with what I have. Anyway, I tried my game on other phones and it worked fine. So I knew it had something to do with the settings, and I was right. I just needed to make sure this box is checked on. Once the game started working on my phone, I tried to find a way to implement touch control to my game, because right now, I can't do anything. At first, I thought I could do it on my own, but I failed. So I went to the Unity asset store and found this amazing touch control asset. I imported it to my game, tweaked some settings, and now I can move the player with touch. After that, I went back to the GDD to write all types of player movements I wanted to have in my game. I wanted the player to be able to run, jump, long jump, wall jump, and wall climb. I had already implemented the first 2, so I needed to add long jump and the rest. Adding long jump was easy. I just needed to add a force upward if the jump button was being pressed long enough. Everything was working fine up to this point, but when I tried to implement the wall jump, I hit the wall. I found this small bug. When the player was close to the wall and on the ground at the same time, the player couldn't jump. I spent a whole day trying to fix it, but no matter what I did, it just wouldn't work. I started panicking. I just started a new semester and I needed to focus on my studies. I did really bad in the last sem and I didn't want that to happen again. Because of that, I could only work on my game 2 to 3 hours at most each day. Here I'd be honest with you. I really did think that game development was hard. Especially when I couldn't do a simple thing like adding a wall jump. I felt really stupid. I even thought of quitting. But thankfully that did not happen. Instead, I took a break for a week. And only when I shifted my focus away from currently what I was doing, I discovered something interesting. It isn't game development that is hard. It is me who's being hard on myself. I mean, I was neglecting my health and sleep. I have a bad habit. I know that sitting in front of a computer for a long time is bad, and you should take a break every hour, but I usually do the complete opposite. Once I'm in front of a computer, I would be sitting there for hours without moving, and because of that, it is really easy for me to feel tired and burned out. So the new developers out there, if you encounter a problem or don't know what to do, just take it easy, okay? Just take a break, go outside, do something else, and I believe you will find new inspirations. And the same thing happened to me. I'm glad that I had that problem. If I hadn't encountered the problem, I wouldn't have learned so much. To solve the problem, I thought of many different solutions, and I implemented each of those to see if it works. Remember when I said the mindset of avoiding something that might not work for your game is bad? I was actually referring to this. I realized only by facing problems and making mistakes, I have the chance to grow. So don't be afraid of problems, you should embrace them. Every problem that you encounter is an opportunity to learn. So I decided to tackle the problem with a new perspective. I rewrote all the logic for the wall jump, and guess what? Now it works like a charm. With this new logic, I was also able to add wall climb and finally finish implementing all the player movement mechanics my game needs. Next, I wanted to add shooting mechanic. So I created the required sprites, imported those to my project, wrote all the codes, and now the player can shoot ice, fire, energy thingy balls, I guess. Okay, I also made sure that it only reaches a certain distance before it disappears. To complete the combat system, I needed to add enemies. So I created the very first enemy that our little girl is going to face. A zombie apple. Yeah, a zombie apple. Why a zombie apple? Because it's a food. Why is the enemy a food? Well, that's going to be the content of the next devlog. But all I can say for now is that it has something to do with the plot. And right now, I need to give it a few more thoughts before I can implement it. So yeah, I'll tell about it more in the future. Right now, the enemy doesn't do anything except for moving left or right, but I want the enemy to chase the player and attack her, which I think I'm going to do later. After the enemy was implemented, I can now shoot it and kill it, and I can also take damage from the enemy or any other deadly objects. I also added a simple menu system which now allows the player to exit the game. Then I added a health bar so that the player can see how much health is left, and I also updated the UI buttons. Now it looks much more like a game. So guys, this is the progress I'm currently have. Everything I did up to this point was a new experience for me. I learned a lot and I still have to learn a lot more, but I think I'm going to take things easy for the next couple of days because my midterm is on next Sunday and I have to take some preparation for that. And I just noticed that I talk more about other stuff than I actually talk about my game. Man, I don't know how much of these are going to make to the final video, but I really have to do something about this in the future devlogs. And I also think that I need to stop. So yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next devlog. Till then, goodbye.